In Act 3, Scene 6 of King Lear, they want to find a more safe place for Lear to be. So Gloucester takes Lear to his castle, which kind of gives him some shelter from the storm. Now, one thing about Edgar in this scene is he has what's called an aside. We talked about an aside before, which basically means he stands off stage so the others cannot hear what he is saying, which is kind of like if you're watching a movie and you have an internal thought, so you could hear the character's internal thought on stage in a Shakespeare play. So he's talking about in his aside how it's better to grieve with others than to grieve alone. They hold basically a mock trial uh, for his daughters while they're not present, for Goneril and Regan, and about how they have abused him, uh, and basically talk about the injustices they have shown him uh, throughout this play and throughout um, his reign of dividing his land to them and what they have essentially done to him. Um, he says, "My tear," or Edgar falls back into um, this grief he's experiencing because, again, remember, he's in disguise. So he says, "My tears begin to take his part so much, they'll mar my counterfeiting." So imagine Edgar is in disguise, but he's with his dad in these mock trials. So Gloucester doesn't actually know that Edgar is Edgar. Um, we also find out that there is a plot to murder Lear. So this is really important because uh, we don't want Lear to be murdered, obviously. So they kind of sneak him out to Dover in this scene. And Edgar kind of shows his allegiance to Lear. Again, Edgar is poor Tom. And he says, "How light and portable my pain seems now, when that which makes me bend makes the king bow and childed as I fathered." So basically, he will remain in disguise until need be. And he pledged his allegiance to him. Um, the fool's final line also appears here, and it's very significant. "I will go to bed at noon." And we will talk about the fate of the fool later on. But that's also very significant here. So just know that Edgar, still in disguise, plot to kill Lear, so they are off to Dover.